Welcome back for the fourth law of the seven spiritual laws of success. Okay. The law of least effort. An integral being knows without going, sees without looking, and accomplishes without doing. Lao Tzu. All right. Four. The law of least effort. Fourth spiritual law of success, the law of least effort. I have a feeling that this is going to be one of the most difficult ones for everybody because hang on, because it's oppositional for what we're programmed to do. Okay. Now I haven't read this book yet, but the name of the law gives me an implication on what it's going to say. All right. So the fourth spiritual law of success, the law of least effort, is based on the fact that nature's intelligence functions with effortless ease, with carefreeness, harmony, and love. This is the principle of do less and accomplish more. When we learn this lesson from nature, we easily fulfill our desires. Okay. It's like a tree will do whatever it does naturally just because that is what a tree does. All right. But if we try to recreate a tree, how much effort are you going to have to take into creating that thing? Are we even capable of doing such a thing? I don't think so. If we observe nature at work, we don't see that the least effort is expended. Grass doesn't try to grow, it just grows. Fish don't try to swim, they just swim. This is their intrinsic nature. It is the nature of the sun to shine, and it is human nature to make our dreams manifest into physical form, easily and effortlessly. What is commonly called a miracle is actually an expression of the law of least effort. Least effort is expended when our actions are motivated by love because nature is held together by the energy of love. When we seek power and control over other people, we spend energy in a wasteful way. When we seek money for personal gain, we cut off the flow of energy to ourselves, an interference with the expression of nature's intelligence. We waste our energy chasing the illusion of happiness instead of enjoying happiness in the moment. Attention to the whims of the ego consumes the greatest amount of energy. But when our internal reference point is our spirit, our actions are motivated by love, and there is no waste of energy. Our energy multiplies, and the surplus energy we gather can be channeled to create anything we want, including unlimited wealth. When we harness the power of harmony and love, we use our energy creatively for the experience of affluence and evolution. Okay. That's like it's so important because I'm sure Deepak Chopra still gets angry. I'm sure he still has, like, he can be the writer of these things and still not embody it every day, right? Because he's still a human that has to live a human existence for the rest of his life. So he has to keep being reminded of the truth of what he already knows. And we all know this. We all know this. Okay. So it's like, you will find yourself getting caught up in your emotions just because that's how we are as people. That's how we're supposed to be. Um, and that's the concept of just letting yourself be, just being a human being, right? People say human being, not human doing. And that's because you're supposed to allow yourself to be in the state of your emotions and still move through activities, right? You have to. You can't just stop doing everything. So it's like just understand how to do that in the easiest way possible without hurting people or hurting yourself by taking those emotions to mean that you are worthy or unworthy of something and then taking actions in alignment based on your concept of your worthiness. That is just such a waste of time. Okay. All right. How can you put the law of least effort into action? There are three things you can do. The first thing is to accept people, situations, and events as they are, not as you wish they were in this moment. This moment is as it should be because it took the entire universe to make this moment. When you struggle against this moment, you struggle against the entire universe. You can intend for things to be different in the future, but in this moment, accept things as they are. The second thing is to take responsibility for your situation and for all the events you see as problems. This means not blaming anyone or anything for your situation, including yourself. Responsibility means the ability to have a creative response to a situation as it is now. All problems contain the seed of opportunity, and this is awareness. And this awareness allows you to take the moment and transform it into a better situation. If you do this, Every upsetting situation becomes an opportunity for the creation of something new and beautiful. Every tormentor or tyrant becomes your teacher. The relationships you have attracted in your life are precisely the ones you need at this moment. There is a hidden meaning behind all events that is serving your own evolution. And if you choose to interpret reality in this way, then you will have many teachers and many opportunities to evolve. Instead of reacting just based on the emotions that you're feeling to anything in your outside environment, I encourage you to communicate to people in your outside environment the way that you are feeling inside, and to let them know that it is not because of anything that they're doing. It's just because of the way that you feel inside right now, and that you are going to do your best to move through it at the pace at which you need to, so that you truly feel better, or that you truly tap into where your energy is meant to be for the day, instead of just trying to like move energy in and out by creating finger pointing, like blaming somebody else, because it's definitely not anybody else's fault for the way that you feel. It's not even your fault for the way that you feel. It's just like the soup of environment that we live in that causes us to wake up feeling differently almost every single day. Okay. But if you commit to the simplest things, like the law of least effort, then you will understand that sometimes it's a day for rest, because muscles grow in the rest phase, not in the breakdown phase, right? When you apply resistance and you're ripping your muscles up, that is not what causes them to grow. It's like when you nourish them and give them the time to heal, okay? And then keep doing that on a regular basis. And that growth phase gets so much easier to assimilate, instead of being like, no, I just always have to be working, okay? Because then you're never going to see the results of all the hard work that you put in. The third way to put the law of least effort into action is to practice defenselessness. This means relinquishing the need to convince others of your point of view. Oh my gosh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. By doing this, you gain access to enormous amounts of energy that you have previously wasted. That is like how most of us spend our whole lives, or maybe not, maybe not. I just know that I have never fit in very well, and it's because I'm so self aware. But you can be as self-aware as you want. You can be great at communicating it to others, but other people, a lot of times what they're talking about is their best case scenarios, their best case ideas of like who they are and what they want to be. And it's taken me a lifetime to realize that just because people want those things, it doesn't mean that they are motivated to step forward into those things. And so sometimes if you are the person who steps forward based on the things that you want, can create conflict within those dynamics, okay? And it it doesn't benefit you. It doesn't get you ahead. In order to sit down and have a defensive conversation or an argument about why it made sense, why the things that you do make sense based on the foundation of who you are. And it's like, you should have known this already. I already told you that this is how I am. Why would this create conflict? It's like, I don't even like talking in that tone, because it's a waste of energy. And you have to consider that these are relationships that are taking from you, not replenishing you, not encouraging you, not motivating you. So whether it be the work environment, whether it be the family dynamic, whether it be, it's just that you have to figure out how much of yourself to give and how much of yourself to con- contain within, so that you can preserve your energy. Okay. So when you have no point to defend, you stop fighting and resisting, and you can fully experience the present, which is a gift. When you embrace the present, you begin to experience the spirit within everything that is alive, and joy is born within you. As you drop the burden of defensiveness and resentment, you become lighthearted, joyous, and free. In this joyful, simple freedom, you will know that what you want is available to you whenever you want it, because your want is coming from a state of happiness, not a state of anxiety and fear. The law of least effort assures us that there is always a simple, natural path to fulfillment. Nature's intelligence unfolds spontaneously through the path of least effort and no resistance. No resistance. Okay. You don't need to resist anything. And that happens in conversation, when an argument starts. It's like because one person said no to the other person's whatever they're saying, if it's even if it's just like, I don't believe what you're saying right now. So then you're defending yourself, then there's resistance. You don't need to put any more effort into that, though resistance builds strength. It's like Also, you're supposed to learn how to build strength and not just continue to damage yourself. Okay. Nature's intelligence unfolds spontaneously through the path of least effort and no resistance. This is the way that you can live too. When you combine acceptance, responsibility, and defenselessness, your life flows with effortless ease. Your dreams and desires flow with nature's desires. And then you can release your intentions without attachment. And when the season is right, your desires will blossom into reality. And that's a fact. Instead of always feeling like you're not doing enough and you haven't done all these things that you said you were going to, it's just don't be in resistance to it. State what your intentions are, be clear about them, and just let it go from that point on. If you felt like you wanted to like shout that out in the moment, to talk about what was inspiring you, an inspiring thought that you had, and let it go at that point. You put out some energy towards it. And if you really want it, then don't be in resistance to it and don't try to conflict with it, but just allow it to flow towards you and say yes to the opportunities that come towards you. To experience the law of least effort, one, accept people, circumstances, and events as they are in this moment, because there's no other thing, there's no other reality. It just is what it is. When confronted with any challenge, remind yourself this moment is as it should be, okay? Because the entire universe is as it should be. So do not add fuel to the fire by raging against things that are, okay? They just are. So how do you adapt to it? Humans are extremely adaptable. It's like our number one strength besides love, but we like to hold that back. Two, take responsibility for your situation without blaming anything or anyone, including yourself. Every problem is an opportunity to take this moment and transform it into a greater benefit. Three, relinquish the need to defend your point of view. In defenselessness, you remain open to all points of view, not rigidly attached to one of them. Because when you find out that you're wrong at some point, either you're not willing to admit it or you feel foolish and again, you don't want to admit it. So the best way to approach life is just by always being a student and knowing that you're always going to be wrong about something because you always have been wrong about something, okay? We our lenses are only so big in our eyes, we can't see the 360 degrees around us and we can't see ourselves. We can't take our eyes out of ourselves and look back to see our own image. We can only look at reflections and pictures and things like that. So just trust that everything is the way it is and that you always have an opportunity to make every moment better. Even if it was a terrible day in your world, you always have more time. Okay, you always have more time. All right, I love you. We'll be right back. 5.